reviewing Chanel No. 19 in the Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, and Poudré versions. So I'll compare and contrast these three scents in the No. 19 family. So No. 19 is one of the classic Chanel fragrances. It was created in 1971 by Henri Robert, who was Chanel's in-house perfumer at the time. He also created another Chanel classic, Cristal. So No. 19 was named for Coco Chanel's birthday, which was August 19th, and the story goes that No. 19 was the final Chanel fragrance that she personally signed off on before her death. No. 19, first and foremost, is a green fragrance. It would technically be a green woody floral, but the big impression that you get with this scent from the first glimpse of it in the bottle, the juice itself is actually pale green. The first impression is just green. It's cut grass, cut flower stems, crisply cut with a sharp steel blade, dewy grass. It is just all about the green. I'm going to talk about the Eau de Toilette version first, and the three scents are not just different strengths of the same thing, they are quite distinctive. So the Eau de Toilette has one of my favorite openings in fragrance. I absolutely love it. I'm a fan of green scents in general, but the Eau de Toilette version, the current version as it is today, it just opens with this rush of cool, sharp green, freshly cut flowers. They're on your counter and you just cut the stems off those fresh flowers and it's crisp and dewy and you're gonna put them in a vase and, you know, enjoy them for the rest of the day. But it's that moment, it's that green, fresh moment, and it's always spoken about as an aloof fragrance, a cool fragrance for the mature woman who's in charge. The advertising for No. 19 has always been kind of sporty and outdoorsy and casual. One of the taglines is the outspoken Chanel or the unexpected Chanel. So that's kind of what they're going for, but I don't find it aloof or austere at all. Maybe just because I love those green notes. So the opening in the Eau de Toilette is fabulous. Within 15 minutes, you start to get a sense of the florals, which is, the florals in the EDT are really dominated by iris, and it's an iris that's very earthy and rooty. It's the root of the iris. So in the Eau de Toilette, I barely get a sense of flowers, a sense of floral, but it's that iris kind of smoothing the way from the green opening down to the slightly woody dry down that you get in the Eau de Toilette. And that woody dry down is vetiver, but it's not a harsh or hard expression of vetiver that sometimes happens in fragrances and is often used in more masculine scents. It's very light. The Eau de Toilette, after that great opening, my problem with it is that it seems very sheer. I want to just grab that sense of green and hold on to it, but it goes away, and I always feel like I'm grasping for something, and it's kind of an unsatisfying experience for me. Once, you know, you move through that very light iris floral stage, the dry down is very subtle, and the Eau de Toilette doesn't last very long on me. I get 3 hours at the most, and I try and try and try, and and at the 2-hour point, I have to like practically suck my skin off to see if that scent is still there. So I feel that the lasting power, for me personally, isn't good in the Eau de Toilette, but man, is that burst of green amazing. The Eau de Parfum version of No. 19 is just an altogether more voluminous, more solid, more perfumey scent than the Eau de Toilette. The opening of the EDP is a little powdery, and it certainly has that sort of classic perfumey sensibility to it. But there's also a nice hint of green, and it's kind of a softer green. It's not as crisp and sharp as the Eau de Toilette. It's a little dewier and maybe just the tiniest bit sweet. But the green is there. It's a nice opening, but it's not that green sensation that I love in the EDT. So as the Eau de Parfum develops, I do get a much stronger sense of the florals in this scent, and I really enjoy that. So once we're 30 minutes in, I'd say I can even detect a hint of rose some days. And something I love about the Eau de Parfum is that every time I've worn it, and I've worn it for 3 days straight, along with the Eau de Toilette and the Poudré, is that it seems different every time I wear it, or I'll pick out something different, or I'll notice something different. So it is a really engaging, interesting experience, and it has a really nice development that will keep you interested as you wear it. So the florals, yes, sometimes I get rose, and I do get that sense of white florals. There's a nice blur of white florals, and then I think the iris really kind of smooths them all out and sort of takes over, and the scent, as a whole, it becomes more earthy and more rooty, more irisy. And then that moves you into the dry down phase, where you can really get the sense of vetiver. And this is what, to me, it's an unmistakable vetiver. It's not overly harsh at all, but there's that hard, dark, earthy quality that you get with vetiver, and I really enjoy that in the dry down. Now, a little bit of that bright green opening of the Eau de Toilette actually starts to come through in the dry down of the Eau de Parfum. It sounds crazy, but I think it's there. So I get a little more of those green notes creeping in with the vetiver, and I really enjoy it. Overall, it's still a light fragrance. Like, I think you could wear this during the day. I think you could wear it to the office. It's light, but it's not as sheer. It's not as ephemeral. It's not as fleeting and just slipping out of your grasp the way that I experienced the Eau de Toilette. I get definitely more longevity out of it. It lasts for a good 4 hours, and it goes beyond that as well in the really enjoyable dry down. Now, number 19, Poudré. This was released in 2011, I believe, and it was created by Jacques Polge, who was Chanel's in-house perfumer. And I think that Poudré is kind of a sad thing, and I'll tell you why. I actually smelled the Poudré before I smelled the EDT or the EDP, because I asked for the EDT in Nordstrom. I asked for a sample, and the lady, of course, assumed I wanted the new hotness, which is the Poudré, and that's what she gave me, and luckily I figured it out. But it has a really great opening, those top notes, and maybe this is just a little pessimistic, but I feel like with Poudré, they did that thing that I think so many perfumers do now, is give you just spectacular top notes, assuming that, you know, they'll spray it on you in the store and you'll think that's amazing and you'll plunk down your credit card immediately and buy it. But who does that, really? Like, I don't do that, and I don't think you do that either. We're smarter than that, right? So it has those spectacular top notes that are just going to bamboozle you, and it's really nice. And they're green, but they're more of a wet, sweet, well, not wet, but a dewy green. There's definitely a little sweetness in there. It doesn't have that powdery, sharp verdancy that you get with the EDT and then throughout the development of the EDP. And I don't think these notes are in there, but somehow the association with me even conjures up a sense of lime and mint, which is strange, but that's just the association that comes with the opening of Poudré. And that opening, which I have to say is really delightful, lasts for 15 minutes max, and then the whole fragrance settles down into something generic and boring, and I don't get any vetiver out of it. I just get sort of a generic soft musk, and that's the rest of the experience. It doesn't last for more than a few hours on me, but that doesn't matter, because the whole development, the whole dry down is such a generic bore that I don't really care. While I can't really recommend the Poudré personally, I think that the EDT or the EDP would be great if this sounds like a scent that appeals to you. Definitely give them a sniff if you like green scents. The Eau de Toilette is the most modern smelling of the two, I would say. It doesn't have as much of a powdery, perfumey quality the way the Eau de Parfum does, and but it's very bright and crisp, and if you don't like that crisp verdancy, that green thing that I love, then I guess number 19 probably wouldn't be for you at all. Although the Eau de Parfum is just such a such a gorgeous experience. I think just about anyone, and any Chanel fans out there especially of the older Chanels, should definitely try to get their hands on the Eau de Parfum. It's only available on the Chanel website as far as I know, and perhaps in Chanel boutiques, but it's not easy to come by. It actually says on their website limited edition, but it's been available through their website for years. I actually got a sample from a decanter from Surrender to Chance, so I got a nice little decant, and I am certainly enjoying it. The Eau de Toilette is easy to buy at stores that have a Chanel counter. Just definitely, you know, ask for it and make sure they don't give you the Poudre. It's not always out, but they generally have it. So definitely go give that a sniff, and try the Eau de Parfum if you can, if this is something that's up your alley. So I think I'm going to review a few more green fragrances soon on my channel. Like I said, it's a genre I really, really like, and what I'll do next is review a fragrance that is widely considered to be sort of an offspring of number 19, and it's definitely a cheap and cheerful kind of scent. It's easy to get for cheap. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, although if you're a perfume buff you can probably figure it out. But that'll be my next review. At least I think so. It'll be coming soon. And then I have a few other green things that I want to get into. So let me know if this is a genre you like, or if there are some green fragrances that you like. Please tell me what they are. I love suggestions. Love, love, love it. So thank you so much for joining me for this review. I hope it was helpful and not too rambly. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you like reviews like this. And thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful, fragrant day.